Welcome to week one of the 40 Days of Focus. I hope you're excited as I am, to continue on this journey, get started on this journey, and see what God is going to do in our lives for the upcoming year. So, the question I want to pose to you today is a simple one. What has God put inside of you? What gifts and what talents has God already put inside of you? I want to use for a reference this morning 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 6 and 7. In this passage, Paul is talking to his mentee Timothy. And he says to Timothy, Timothy, fan into flames the gift that God has put in you. Or he says, stir up the gift. What he's telling him is that Paul is recognizing that, Timothy, there's already a great gift inside of you. What you're looking for is not something that's outside of you. It's not something that's beyond you. No. What you're looking for is already there. It was already put inside of you. And so he says to him, he says, Timothy, there's already greatness in you. And I want to say the same thing to you, that there's already greatness in you. God has given all of us something unique, something special to do what he's called us to do and to be who he has called us to be. And what we've got to do is that we've got to begin to stir up that gift. What Paul in essence says to Timothy, he says, Timothy, you don't need a new revelation. You don't need a new idea, a new identity. What you need is just that discipline to begin to invest and to maximize what God has already put inside of you. And that's what I'm going to challenge you with today. I'm going to challenge you to start investing in what you already have and who you already are. I'm going to challenge you to start pouring into right where you are, not necessarily just waiting for what's coming next, but in pouring into what you already have. I believe this. When we begin to use what we already have, we open the door for God's best in our lives. And I want to challenge you to open that door by using what you already have. So how does Paul know that Timothy has this great gift? Well, Paul says, I know you have this great gift, Timothy, because I was there, and through the laying on of hands, I was a part of seeing God put it in your life. Here's one of the things that I believe is very important for you to know at this point, is that oftentimes when God wants to do something great in your life, he will use other people to do it. That's just a part of how he works and how he keeps us connected to one another. And so he uses Paul as the conduit between himself and Timothy, and God, through Paul, puts a gift inside of Timothy. One of the questions I'm going to pose to you as well is, what and who has God used to pour gifts into your lives? You know, who are those people that you've met along the way that have greatly impacted you and impacted your life? So here's an exercise that we're going to use to help us kind of figure these things out. I want you to take out a notebook or a piece of paper, and I want you to look at 6 areas of your life, all right? I want you to catch this, 6 areas of your life: your marriage, your ministry, your faith, your parenting, your industry, and your finances, all right? I'm going to say it again. Your marriage, your ministry, your faith, your parenting, your industry, and your finances. What you're going to do for each of those areas is that you're going to write down the names of 3 people who have either invested in you or who serve as examples for where you believe God is calling you to go in your life. For instance, for your marriage, even if you're single, you're going to write down 3 couples that have the kind of marriage that you believe that God is calling you to one day have. When you look at your industry, you're going to look at whatever your field is, whatever field you work in. You're going to look at 3 people who serve as great examples for the direction that you believe God is calling you to go in your life. And as you do this, what we're going to start to see is a picture is going to begin to emerge of what it is that God has put around us to help us to become who he's called us to be. And later this week, we're going to start looking at those people. I want you to start looking at them and start figuring out, what do they have in common? You know, what is it that makes them special? What is it about their marriage? What is it about how they parent? What is it about how they live their faith that makes them so unique that you feel God calling you into something similar, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take this week and we're going to answer that question. What has God put inside of you? And I hope you'll start discovering that God has already put great gifts inside of you, and it's now our duty to begin to discover what they are and to begin to develop them so that we can become who God has called us to be. So God bless you, and I look forward to this journey with you on the 40 Days of Focus.